Hey, how's it going? You're here right now probably because you've been searching the internet trying to piece together all of these various sources of information to find the best method and best way to generate photorealistic AI influencer content consistently with the same character, right? Is like somewhat correct? Okay. So I'm making this video to my past self. I wish somebody had made this video because I had to piece together like 50 different videos, 40 different GitHub repositories, 30 Reddit posts. It's crazy. Joined 40 different Discords and Patreons to like piece together like an actually fluid, solidified system. So, for starters, hi, my name is, you can call me Exotic for now. I have a history. My history and background is traditional business, B2B marketing, branding, and sales. And I dealt with AI. I've dealt with AI for the last 3 years of business. But the photo generation space, I didn't realize how deep it got and how complex it really is. It can be because I just was used to these online platforms and tools. So this is raw, uncut. The only thing I'm going to cut and pause is generation times and setup times, so you don't have to sit here and wait for that. So other than that, completely uncut, completely raw, and we're going to dive into it. So for starters, you need to generate a face. You need to have something that looks like this, something that looks like this. This is a bad example. This is not realistic, right? Huge eyes, very kind of outdated AI photo, sort of. This, fantastic. Great starting point. Look at the detail of this. Look at the eyes, look at the face. I'm sure things could always be better, yes, but this is a great starting point for training a LoRa. Also, there are things terminology wise you need to wrap your head around. So models are not these things, by the way. I thought that when I first got into this. So models would be something like Stable Diffusion XL, things like WAN 2.2. Think of it as like a recipe book. This might be a terrible analogy, but think of it as a recipe book are your models. And then you have things called LoRa's, which are the specific recipes. They're finely trained file types on a specific purpose. So you might have a LoRa dedicated for eye generation. So through this ComfyUI is the platform we would be using, the system, the software we would be using to generate. Through that workflow, you attach LoRa's to your base, to your model. There could be a hair LoRa specifically trained on curly hair, whatever it is. Lighting LoRa's, doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is train a character model so that we can attach it to our workflows and get consistent content with. So again, the starting point is you need to generate a face. Head over to civitai.com, link in description. You won't need to spend any money for this. You can use the free credits it gives you. They call it Buzz on this site. And literally, what I did was I went and I looked for a good base model. There's other ones on here you could find. But this got me a good idea. And you want something of the face, because what we're going to do is swap this onto a body, a real body. So I really liked how this came out, looked really real. So what you do is once you find an image you like, click on the eye, and it's going to give you a prompt and a negative prompt. You'll see this. Think of the prompt as whatever you want, and then think of the negative prompt as things you definitely do not want. So it helps the model know what direction and what things to include and not include in the actual final result. So I legitimately took this I gave it, so this is photorealistic, all-purpose, porn and gay-friendly XL model for stable diffusion. I took it, I gave it the URL, went to ChatGPT, gave it the URL, copied this entire thing, the prompt and the negative prompt, and I gave it the settings. And I said, I want to generate a photo of a blonde, attractive, 25-year-old Swedish model with blue eyes, and it gave me this prompt, and it gave me this negative prompt here. So what you want to do with what GPT outputs is put it in here. So what you're going to do once you find a model, click create, and once you click create, remixing won't be on here. So whatever you do, don't click remix, because you're just going to remix that image. So that's what this is, remix. Just click create. You put that prompt in there, you put the negative prompt in here, and make sure it's portrait mode. And then on the advanced side, just copy over whatever those settings were for, oops, go back. And I lost it, sorry. Where was it? Realistic. Let's go here, create. There it is. Whatever those settings were on that photo that you find, or that model that you find. And very simply, you just click generate. So you want a good starting point, something like what I showed you, something like this. Sorry, it's not loading for some reason. Or something like this. Open it up over here. This is the one we're going to be working with today. We're calling her Riley. And I just, a caramel skinned brunette with green eyes. And I think I told it a Megan Fox sort of, piercing gaze. So this is the image that it generated. And, like the level of detail even this is pretty crazy. I mean, like even the eyelashes with like the caked mascara, the iris, beautiful. The lips, the texture on the lips, so good, right? Once you have that base model, the next step is to find a body. Now, there's different methods you could use for this. Let me tell you something. I want you to listen to me carefully, okay? Find a consenting body to go swipe pictures from. Let me give you the context here. What we're going to do, this is not a real face. This is a real body. These are face swaps I did. Now, here's the thing. We're using this information for data and training. So none of these actual photos will be used externally. It's all going to be internally for training. You want to give it the best chance it has is creating something realistic. So you can go to an AI influencer's Instagram and go swipe pictures. I'm going to give you some sauce here in a second on how to do that at a mass large scale very simply. But you need to find a consenting body, right, to use as a reference. So once you do, ideally that person either has a library that they give you of photos, whether it is an actual professional model, If not, you're going to download this Chrome extension, mass downloader for Instagram. And what this allows you to do is you can download by sequence right here. And you literally just go to any Instagram page, click on that extension, hit download by sequence, and put the number of posts you want to download. So target goal is you want ideally at least 20 photos. The more the better. So the more data that you have, the better going into training. So once you have your base model, right, with the face we don't want. What you then do, and I'm just gonna come over here just to show you an example. I'm gonna just look up like Latina model. We're gonna find a good image. I'll show you good images to use. So like for instance, this would be a good one. You wanna avoid busy backgrounds and objects and hands if you can. Some are fine. If it's not busy, that's the main thing, is busy. So I may stray away. So if I do open image, a new tab, gives me a thing. I gotta go to Instagram and log in. Okay, it took longer than it should have. So we're just going to use this for an example. So let's say, that could be a decent image if the hair wasn't in the face. This is perfect right here. So this one, go ahead and open up the extension. Oops. Of course you see shit like that on Instagram now. That is not supposed to do that. Okay, for some reason that was fucking up for me. So the mass downloader, once you install it, is gonna pop up over here, right there. I'm blocking this just so I don't dox myself. So download, we're gonna do a few here. So you're gonna want to do a sequence because you need a lot. For this example, I'm just gonna do a few. So we'll do this one. This is a good one. So clear face and similar style, similar setting, not busy background. There's some things in the table here, but not too much. This is too busy. For my liking, this one's good. And you want different mouth and face expressions. So I'm gonna try that one. And I don't know this girl, who she is. I'm just doing this for an example. So we'll do, what is that? Like 5, 6. So we'll do that, and we'll do this one. Okay, we'll do actually one more and make it 8, something like this. Cool. So download. This will take a sec. Now, something to keep in mind too, you have to understand when you're training a LoRa, the better the data in is the better quality data out. Better in, better out. If it's bad data in, then bad data and bad results are gonna come out. So just keep that in mind. You wanna find high quality photos. You have a high quality face, we just generated it. So you wanna keep that in mind. So now this is done, it just downloaded a zip. So go ahead and open it, unzip all the photos. Here they are. It's actually downloaded a lot more than I selected. So we're gonna go back over, let me head and do this. Back over here, and it's very simple. So we select all the images. There's 24 in there. We'll do it just so I could show you. It's pretty simple. So you upload your target here, and then you upload your face here. We go ahead and add that face that I just showed you earlier in. So that's the face we will be using. All these photos. So let's go ahead and launch face swap. And again, what I'm showing you right now, just an example. You go find somebody that you have consent from, but you can reassure them, hey, we're just using this to train. So none of your photos are actually going to be used, published. They're not going to be, it's nothing like that. So now it's going to start working and doing task here. So we'll wait for one to come in and I will show you the results. Okay, so now we started getting some images back here, and this is what it put out. And then on the side here, you can see that's the original face. This is the original. Let me find the original one. Okay, so that's the original face with this face. This is the original photo, and then this is what it outputted. So as you could see, it does fairly well. It even gets the hair across the eye, you know, fully. And honestly, these people are very similar, just in like facial structures. That maybe wasn't the best example model to use. But for instance, this one, so you can see, changes the lips, eyebrows, eyes, and the facial structure. But like I said, the facial structure of our source matched our target fairly decently. You could tell, but it's like honestly very similar. So that's what you get. Yeah, that's what you get back out, and you want to download all these. So this one you can tell a little bit more. You could see the difference in the face. Very cool stuff, right? So, okay, you want at least 20 of these, ideally 40, 50, 60, 70 is cool. And you want to download all of these. I'll show you a little trick too. So once you have those downloaded, let me go ahead and we'll just do characters. Actually, let me just open this. I've already done this previously with this face. So we have our target photos, and you want to go through, there's not all of them are going to be good. Some of the face swaps are going to end up not good. So this is our training data that we have personally here. So keep it minimal, things outside of the hands. Some are okay, like I kept in like this stuff was okay because it's a different scene, different lighting, and it's a common, you know, kind of sitting down at a restaurant. These selfie style ones are really good. These, she have the wine glass in her hand right here. That's cool too. So just a bunch of different scenery. There's another one in public, but she doesn't really have anything in her hands. There's people in the background, so it's good to train the Laura on that. So anyway, that's the data you want. Following this, the next step, very, very important. You'll see these text files I have with all these images describing what it is. Riley in a black cutout top and high-waisted pants, smiling while standing against a rustic brick wall background. I didn't type that out. Basically, all I did was go to ChatGPT. I'll give you the prompts here. I gotta scroll past it actually. Okay, so you want to give it this prompt. These are photos of your character's name. Analyze these images and caption them correctly for lore training using character's name as the caption token, and convert each single caption into a text file and name them all in the same order and names as the photo names. 01.txt, 02.txt, etc. And then finally zip them all into zip files so I can download it. So a little trick, because once you download your photos, they're not going to be named all like this. So you want to get them all in a folder. Hit Control A or Command A for a Mac like me, and you want to do rename. So you can rename, but you want to click Format. Okay, and what you do is name an index, custom format 0, start numbers at 1, where after name, and click rename, and it'll name all the photos in a sequential order. ChatGPT only allows 10 at a time, so you upload 10 and give it this, downloads it as a zip. For some reason in the captions it was saying the name twice, so I had to tell it to stop doing that. And upload your next 10 and just say same for these 10. I'll continue to give you photos, and you will continue to generate lower training captions, and just continue this process and put them all into one folder. So that's the next phase. Now you're ready for training. So if those 20 minutes were complex, just get ready for this next part. But really don't even look at it as complex, because it's just you don't know about the whole process yet. So it is complex. Anyways, the next thing you're going to want to do is, let me go ahead and just exit off these guys. You want to go over here to this website. It is called runpod.io. I realize my name's here, so I'm gonna have to block that out in post. But your name is, or the name of the site is runpod, and we're going to build a pod to do generation. So I have the best results with the A40. If you're doing a bigger set, probably, like, I don't have any experience with the AMD cards, but anyways, for this example, we're just gonna be running the A40. I would recommend that for training. It's 40 cents an hour, probably take you 5 hours or so, something like that. Just depends on what your data set looks like. So keep this default. We're gonna rename this training. I'll have the link for this in the description as well. So training, runpod PyTorch 2.8, maybe an updated version by the time you're watching this. There's a couple of changes we're gonna make here. So select this template. If you don't, change template and select it, and then edit template. We're going to give container and volume disk 200 gigs each. Keep the volume mount path the same, and we're going to expose, in addition to 8888, port 8675. This will be for our training terminal. Now we're also going to add an environment variable called AI underscore toolkit underscore auth, and then just create a password. And yeah, once you've done that, you just click set overrides, and we can deploy our pod. So this will take a second to spin up. Think of it, we're literally starting a virtual machine. It's a virtual computer. So give it a second to pop up, and I'll show you what to do next. All right, so now our pod is up and running. What we're gonna do is click inside of it, and we're gonna launch Jupyter. That's port quadruple 8. We're gonna launch Jupyter. It's gonna spin up. We're loading in here. Cool, awesome. So go into the terminal here, and first thing we are going to do is install, or rather drag in this training file here. Let that upload to our workspace. I will have a link for this in the description. So download that, put that in there, and next you're gonna want to copy this command. I'll also have a resource for this in the description. Copy this command and click enter. So now we're gonna install this AI toolkit for training. So this will give us a interface to use to train models, or rather LoRa's, in WAN 2.2. So this is going to take a little bit. I will come back once this has finished up. You don't have to touch anything until it's done. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, I had to take a little break, had some calls in between there, but you know it's done when you see starting and then ready right here, these check marks. So we can go ahead, go back to my pods, click back on that pod. This time we're gonna be launching port 8675. And that password you entered earlier, go ahead and enter that in here. And now we're in. Now we're in our training pod. One thing you want to keep in mind here, this one is considerably, actually never mind. Just keep in mind because I had this happen to me. Connect your card or connect your bank account, whatever, and set up an automatic deposit every time your balance runs under $10, because I was in the middle of training one time, and if your balance runs out, then your computer shuts down. So now you can head back into here, and the first thing we're going to do is create that data set of our character, sorry. So go ahead and create it, and this is where you upload the images. I'm just going on my other screen here. Characters. Okay. And these are all of the images and the captions to go along with it. Give us a second to upload. All right. So just completely give it a second. I uploaded what I had, like 60 some images or so in here. So as you can see, now we have our images. Now I do know when I was, I was training another character, and I was accidentally mixing some of the names, so I'm gonna go through and change these. All right, I just made sure everything was okay. So now once you have your data set uploaded, we can now begin the training process. So we'll go ahead and click on new job. And for the training name, we'll just name it our character's name. You wanna also make sure your trigger word is your character's name. For the model architecture, I've done both WAN 2.2 14B and the 2.1 14B. So I would recommend the 2.1 14B, even though we are using WAN 2.2, the model still trains the same. So keep it at WAN 2.1 14B. Nothing else on here you want to change. So how this works is, the only other thing you want to change is down here. So WAN 2.2 is technically like a video model, but it generates images as well. But it's kind of, I guess, default to a video model. So number of frames you want to change to 1, and then frames per second 1. So that way we know it's just generating, one instance. Everything else you can leave the same. This you want to pay close attention to. If your images are smaller than 512 by 512, it's going to not include it. And it uses a bucket system, so if the image is 1,000 by 1,000, it's going to bucket it into the 768 category. The data set, you just make sure the one we just uploaded is connected. As you get more advanced, you could train multiple data sets at the same time. So you could theoretically do scenery specific mixed with model specific, or character specific rather. The only thing left to do now is to update these prompts. So if you remember, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the caption and analysis I had here. So in this prompt that we were doing earlier, I just had to generate 10 new prompts. So these are training prompts that your model will train on and generate images for, and how it's going to learn. So sample prompts rather. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually, okay, so went ahead and got all those sample prompts in here. So again, just to recap, just change this here, and I wouldn't adjust anything else just because it works very well just as it is. So if you are running locally, you can turn low VRAM mode on, but other than that, hit create job. It's going to save. It's going to spin up this instance. Still not done. The last step, this little tiny guy up here in the top right corner. Go ahead and click the play button, and now it's starting. So this will take a considerable amount of time. Just be patient. You don't have to stay on the screen. Your machine's running. That's why it's a virtual machine. So if I exit off of this, but it doesn't matter. You can shut your computer down because it's on this computer. It's not on yours. So keep that in mind. You don't have to like be on this thing. It's going to take a while. You are going to notice it's going to initiate the instance, and then you're going to see it say generating images. So once it starts, you can go and follow along and see how it's learning and readjusting itself, which is pretty cool. At some points you're going to get like some of these error loading checkpoints, error loading logs. Don't worry about it. If an error does come up, it is very, very, very plausible. You could plug it into ChatGPT and it helps you. That's what I've done. I've had multiple errors through this process come up. But what I've just shown you so far has yielded me 0 errors with this specific setup, the A40 running on RunPod on the PyTorch 2.8. So just keep that in mind. The next bit we're going to do is, after this is done and we have our training LoRa, we can then install ComfyUI. If you already have ComfyUI and a workflow built, that's amazing. And you just needed the training LoRa, perfect. So yeah, the next bit we're going to set up ComfyUI and install a workflow so that we can actually plug our LoRa in and start generating some images. So yeah, let this do its thing, and we'll come back. All right, quick cut. I'm sure you can tell by the lighting. It's been about 2 hours ish, and this is what it looks like. So don't be frightened at these images. It'll continuously get better. I don't know why this one is a guy. I don't know why it's doing that, but what it's doing is it's learning from these. So for instance, like this one, it's going to do 10 of these. So by the third or fourth one, it'll start to, the quality will start to turn out a little better. As you can see, the third one, the fourth one. So it just kind of learns as it goes and gets better. So don't be too worried about the quality at this point. Weird arm stuff going on. Yeah, so it's been about maybe a little over 2 hours. As you can tell, it's doing a fairly decent job. So keep this running. We are not even halfway through yet, not even 30% through. So Give it time. It's going to take a little bit, but by the end of it, you're going to have a fully trained LoRa. And by the way, if you work all day on a computer, you need just some of these. You're going to have a fully trained LoRa file where you can actually generate some content. So I'm going to cut now to an already existing LoRa that I have. That way we could just continue rolling with this. So actually what you want to do is you're not going to use, like, honestly, any of the first 5-6 LoRas. There could be a point with overtraining at some point. You could overlearn, but really you just pick. So this would be LoRa 1, and you'll see how step 0, step 250, step 500. So that's what these are, and it saves every 250. And I think I had it set to only keep 3 or keep 4. So it just generated this row, the 4th row, and now it's training on that. As you can see, 27% through on that. And yeah, so we're gonna cut to the next portion that you're going to need to do. Okay, so you're gonna need to open and deploy another pod. You're gonna want to stay away, and this is a template, so you're gonna want to stay away. I'll have the link for this in the description. You're gonna want to stay away from the 50 series right now. I'm doing the RTX A6000. I believe for this ComfyUI. Right now it's finicky with the 50 series, the new gen graphics cards. So go something not as new gen. I'll give that a second to load. So I am doing this guy here. This is 49 cents an hour, and it's fairly quick if you have the budget. I mean, if you have the budget, you could run like an A100. We're doing the A40 for the training, so it's very cost effective. You could do your research in it and just figure out what one might work best for what you're trying to do. So this is basically what we're going to set up now, the workflow, the ComfyUI. So anyway, back to the run pod. You're going to go ahead and choose, we'll go the A6000 for this one. Don't change anything on the template. It's completely fine. You see, what this is going to do is actually set up, and you could just call this ComfyUI or whatever you want. This is going to set up WAN 2.2 for us. So it's perfect. So really, really, really awesome guy. I found, I'll link him below, where I found this pod template. So yeah, you could just immediately deploy this. Okay, so just keep an eye on this, and once this is all good, we'll go ahead and launch. Give it a second. First time launching here. So again, this is the back end. If it whites out like this, just give it a second to launch. Now you're going to try to launch the ComfyUI. Okay, it's still setting up. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for ComfyUI to finish loading in here. But what we're going to do is go back to the training here. So just check in. Okay, it's still training. So once you get the LoRa that you like, or the checkpoint that you like, you'll download it. You can also find that in the back end. I'll show you that later, but we're going to go ahead and pretend that it's done and we like this checkpoint. So it'll download locally. You just wait for it. Won't take 18 minutes, but it'll take a sec to download. All right, so now ComfyUI is set up here. You'll notice if you're looking at it, you'll see the container disk and the pod volume utilization turn up. That's how you know it's ready. Or you'll just see it right here. So we can actually go launch this now. And let me switch this scene here. It's gonna take a second, your first time loading it. You're also gonna wanna launch the back end like I showed you. So once you have this downloaded here, download one of these checkpoints, you'll have it failed to download because my internet was going in and out, but you'll have a safe tensors file, right? So what you're gonna wanna do with that is go into, just as a reminder, the Jupyter, into ComfyUI, into models, and right here into LoRa's. There's gonna be some LoRa's in here already. But obviously, as it says here, that's where you put the LoRa. So it will look a little something like this. Upload. Now, this I found takes a second, so wait for that to upload. The blue bar will be all the way across, and then you are ready for the next step. So there's nothing in here, right? Well, that's because you need to upload a workflow JSON file, and this will be also in description. Just go ahead and drag that into here. Looks like we got some lagging going on. So let's try this here. Give it a second to load. Okay. We'll drag that in. And it is taking a second, so give me a sec. Okay, so once you drag that file in, it's gonna look something like this. And really the only thing you're gonna change is here in the low noise LoRa models. What you're gonna do is double click, add to node, loaders, and you want to do LoRa loader model only, add one of those. Now what you're gonna see will look like this, just these three here. You want to disconnect this node from this node and just route this node into here. And you just do that simply by clicking and dragging. And then route this node into this node, okay? Then here is where you select your LoRa that we uploaded. Now, if you don't see your LoRa in here, what you're gonna wanna do is come over to models, LoRa's, first see if you could see it in here. If you don't, just hit refresh and then load all folders. If you still don't see it, go up here to the manager and just restart it. And then you'll have to refresh. And then it should pop up. If you upload a LoRa and it does not show up, because I've had this happen, what you're gonna have to do is just delete the whole pod and do a whole nother installation of it. But now you know how to. So that's, you know, essentially it. That's it. That is the workflow in a sense. Now, here's where you can adjust the height of everything. If you go and find, you know, or the size of the image, if you go and find like on Civet, we can find, if we type 2.2, hit enter. And today the internet is just not working. And what I was gonna say is, if you find a photo like this that you like, you can copy the prompt, copy the negative prompt, but it's not trained on the same, so you can just take it from inspiration. If you go back here, once this is all set up, there is actually, I took this prompt. I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'll show you here. So I'm just gonna say, drag this over. So I'm just gonna say, generate me a prompt for Ava for ComfyUI. The prompt should include these 3 trigger words, and then I'm just going to here, we're using my other Ava, my other character Ava, because we're waiting on the other one to train. Those 3 words, the prompt, or let's just say the image I want is a cell phone photo, or let's just do this. I want is a picture on a balcony at night, spelled balcony wrong, at night with the city skyline glowing behind her. She should look elegant, sexy, with her hair slightly blowing in a breeze. So nothing too complicated. This one was giving iffy results, so we'll see what chat says here. If you keep that negative prompt in there, I think for the most part, you're just gonna keep it in there. Let me get rid of this. Again, this is basically everything you don't want. So one thing you will need to do is change this lore model. Change the lore name to this Lenovo, because I think it's default set on another one. So anyway, yeah, once that's done, you could literally just go ahead and click run. And so it's going to take a second to generate an image here. And I'll show you where to get these images once they generate. The cool thing is, so once an image is here, you could sort of remix it and tweak it a little bit. And once an image is generated, it goes a little bit quicker. So looks like it's actually about done. So I'll unpause it whenever it's done. All right, so this is the image here, and pretty good quality, huh? Pretty good. This data set, I didn't train on too many photos, so it could be a little better. And it puts something, I think that's like a tattoo it's putting there. But it looks pretty good. The reflection in the glass here, everything's AI generated, but nothing None of these are real. But this is really good. I did say standing on a luxury balcony at night, glowing city. So I'm not sure why I put elegant, high detail, soft lighting, Instagram aesthetic. I'm not sure why I put her in a room, but I mean, look at the window. You can see it's like looks kind of dirty a little bit, even. So really good results, really good stuff. And let's just say, like, it looks like her arms behind her back here. So let's say we want her, we didn't mention anything about what she was wearing. So let's say, beautiful woman in a black lace top. This is a great image. But now, as you can see, I'm gonna add one more thing to the prompt and just click run. This should generate a little faster. Don't worry, this saves automatically, so I'll show you where to grab those. You can kind of just keep ripping through photos if you wanted. Even like the hip bones here, like low waist, pants on, hip bones. I mean, looks beautiful. That was the character I was showing you guys earlier. Now again, the face, slightly, you know, I've just been looking at this stuff a lot, so I'm sure, you know, somebody's gonna think that's real. I could just, there's something about it I could tell. But like if I'm looking back from far away a little bit, I mean, wow, it's like really good. And I mean, you could just think of the possibilities. So, anyway, that's essentially it. You now have a way to consistently generate content. I'm gonna pause and wait for this next one to generate so I can kind of show you, and then I will show you how to download these. So, all right, so as you can see, it generated another photo here. Looks pretty good. Again, this is a smaller data set I did, but still a great example, great quality. And it put her outside this time, which is nice. So again, it's AI, so there's gonna be some inconsistency in some regard, but now you at least have a trained LoRa that can actually consistently generate like same character, you know. That's the biggest thing. So now, you know, have fun with this, generate as many images as you want. And when you're ready, what you're gonna do is go back to your Jupyter. Let this load, and it's very simple, very easy. So you can see I'm already have some of these pulled up. This is another photo generated. Pretty cool. That model had a lot of like busy stuff in the background, but yeah, so you will be in this home screen here. So what you're gonna do is go into the ComfyUI, output, refresh. Sometimes it takes a second to actually load. ComfyUI, output, there we go. And then right here you can literally just download and it'll immediately download. Then you can open this up, and I can't move it over to my other screen, but there you go. That's how you do that. So like I said, it was going to be a longer video, but that was everything A to Z. Sorry. If you have any questions, leave them down below, but it's not a complicated process if you break it down into chunks like that. I mean, it literally took me so long to like piece all this information together. So I wanted to put something together, one for myself, for when I start to outsource and hire people for this, but two, I so wish that this exact video was made for me. Nobody's giving the sauce out. So there you go. I just gave the sauce out. Have a good one, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.